lot of reasons to feel bad, but just as easy to feel good, man. I've been on Tom Cruise's jet to go to Vegas for dinner, and those were great perks. Nothing's easy, and I think if it comes easy, it's going to go easy.
Who is with Vinny Fiorenza? There's a lot he doesn't know. There's a lot he wants to know. This is a podcast where he tries to learn from people who know things he doesn't. He'll be focusing on people from the worlds of business, entertainment, and the arts. His guests are people he finds fascinating and that he believes will bring value to others. Join him on the journey on finding out who is.
We're here with the one and only Kyle Leatherberry. Let's get this thing started. Cheers, man.
All right, cheers. Happy to be here. Good to see you, man.
Good, likewise. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Yeah.
Good,
really,
man. You look good.
Thanks, man. Yeah. A lot of reasons to feel bad, but just as easy to feel good, man. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
I hear that, but yeah, we're both on the same, both feel the same type of way. I like to start these interviews off with telling the people, where are you from originally, Kyle?
I am from a little town called Cape Coral, Florida, which is southwest Florida. I got out of there as soon as I could. I lived there until I was 19. It's just right across the state from Miami. So I started going to Miami as soon as I could start driving, and kind of fell in love with entertainment business in Miami.
I'm sure there's a lot of action over there.
There's a lot of action.
What's it mean to you being from that area?
Bigger cities right around it. There's Naples. A lot of people have heard of Naples.
Yeah, all the New Yorkers go over there.
Right, and Fort Myers. I like that I grew up there. Beautiful beaches. Florida's got a bad rap, but it's actually a really nice place. I don't think I'd ever move back there. Still got some friends there, so it's nice every time I can get down there. I go and crash at one of my buddies' houses, see their kids, and see how the other half of the world is living, pretty much.
When you were growing up and you were over there, how do you think your friends would describe you?
I was a wild kid back in the day. Never had a serious girlfriend. I never really settled down. I remember girls not really liking me until high school. And then when that hit, I was just like, it's on now.
It's on.
Actually, I lost my best friend at 21. And hopefully we can talk about that later. But I just made a short film last year and dedicated to him. But really one of my only good friends that I've ever had in my life. He passed when he was 21, right after I moved to LA. And it was just one of those things that just hit me really hard and kind of turned me into a different person. It's called Blood Runs.
Cool.
So it was a under $50,000 short film that we did last year, and kind of just raise awareness for mental health and suicidal risk. It's on YouTube. It's 33 minutes. I had a great editor and friend of mine that I've been working with for a long time. Really came through and saved the project for me. But I wrote it, directed it, and starred in it. I think it came out really well. A few people, you never know who's one step away from committing suicide. There's 9 million a year people that for some reason, and they can be rich, they can be poor, they can come from all walks of life. So I wanted to make a movie, and I wanted to have like a good story behind it, not just something to make me look good. But
yeah,
to answer your question, what my friends would,
no, I get it, dude.
They would call me crazy. I think that everybody knew that I couldn't sit still. I always skipped school. I wanted to be somewhere else, and I'd like to think that people think I'm funny. Maybe.
Funny how?
Class clown. I always like making people laugh.
When you were young, were you always a young creative? Like, were you into the arts in some way? Or if you weren't, what were you into?
I was definitely always into art, in music, actually. The one thing that not many people know about me, and I really don't talk about much unless I'm drinking heavily or something, but I went to LA to do music. I started writing, and I rap, really. I'm a rapper.
What's your artist name?
I just go by KL, my initials.
Nice.
KL. So I started licensing music because I never really had that confidence that I saw all these artists have, and I don't like being on stage, really. I love acting, but I don't like performing. But I was always into music, so that's really what I went to LA for. And I have a song with Dr. Dre's nephew, and really met some amazing people in LA. thought I could get into licensing music, and I tried it. It's one of those businesses that's very, very difficult. But I still write.
Oh, you do?
I draw some artwork, as you know. I love drawing. I turned down a scholarship to NYU and went to LA instead.
Wow.
Yeah, I got like some congressional recognition in my junior year of high school, and was going to take that path, but I didn't know. I don't think drawing pictures is a great business, but
it depends. I guess it depends.
I was not into school at all, man. I could not hang. I always got good grades when I was there, but last thing I wanted to do after high school was go to more school.
I hear you. I did go to school, but who knows what I would have done if I could do it all again. In regards to the arts, did your family have any influence in you, like getting involved in that? Like any influence from them?
Yeah, I think, it's funny. My mom, she was very artistic, whether she was making crafts or something. So they always supported really anything I wanted to do. And if I have a movie or something that comes out, they'll watch it, but they've never really pushed me, which might have helped, but they were always supportive. And then my dad would always watch comedy shows and movies and stuff growing up. So I think that, I see a lot of them in me. They were very young when they had my sister and I. They were 20.
Wow.
Early 20s. So they're still young. My dad's my best friend. And
nice, dude.
The only way I'm able to be a full-time actor and artist right now is because I have supportive parents. And my sister took the other route. She's a physician's assistant now. So that took a lot of heat off of me to
that's great.
Do what I wanted to do. I moved to LA when I was 19. I remember instead of going to college, they said that they'd help me get a place for a few years.
Yeah, no, it goes a long way having people around you that are able to impact your life in that type of way. When was the first time you acted? Like, when did you know you like this is it?
It took a long time. Basically, long story short, I started going to Miami, and I got an agent in Miami. She was actually Eddie Murphy's ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, and this really cool lady down in Miami in South Beach. And I got signed with her agency and started doing some modeling jobs, and just love to be able to create your own schedule. And I've had like a lot of things in my career. I remember I was 16 and I booked a lead in a Britney Spears music video, and she was huge back then.
Wow.
So went down to Miami. I got the lead role. I was telling everybody, it's it. This is my shot. I made it. And she ended up canceling the shoot that morning. The morning she started to shoot. So that was kind of my introduction to the business, and it made me want it more. But it was a good intro to how the last 20 years.
Reality.
And then it's a very, very difficult business, as you know. But I think that's why people love it so much. So fast forward to me in LA, I got a great agent right off the bat and was hustling and getting amazing auditions. And I remember it really took probably about 10 or 15 years for me to get a couple short films and these other projects and meet other great creative people that spent their whole life to make a movie, and they put me in as a lead or something like that. So I remember it clicking, but it took a long time to click to where I actually, now I can say I'm an actor. I love acting. I love the craft. I get it. But when I first started, I didn't. I was just there because, I wanted to get the jobs. And most of them I didn't get back then because I had that attitude.
Sometimes that could help you, just being like, just go with the flow type of thing. It depends on the scenario. So who are some of the bigger actors out there that have influenced you to become one?
Oh, man. So many. Al Pacino. I'm a big director fan. I'm kind of like, there's not many stars I looked up to, but directors, I really have always admired directors. So I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan. I think that actors don't get enough credit. I think that anybody can do it, but really, if you see somebody that's leading a show or leading a series, these people are super, super talented. So there's really not anybody I don't look up to that's working. And, I really just admire anybody's persistence to keep doing this and to be successful at it. So Denzel Washington, A lot of the comedic guys. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan. I think he's a great actor, and I love how he brings all his friends on projects.
Acting for the time that you have, what are some of the pros and cons of being an actor out there, especially, in LA for the time that you spent there?
Pursuing that business, I met some really cool people. I worked on a project doing location scouting for a huge Tom Cruise movie. I've been on Tom Cruise's jet to go to Vegas for dinner, and those were great perks, and just meeting awesome people, obviously. And my network shows always stand out to me. Every network show I've ever worked on, you get residuals for the rest of your life. They're small, but you can just see, wow, if I only had 10 episodes on this show, I'd be set. So I really loved all my network experiences. And then the cons, man, I remember crying on the floor in LA after, 2 callbacks. I tested for Days of Our Lives. It's probably one of my biggest accomplishments, but there's no medals for second place in this business. And, you go into a test, and all the auditions were in person back then, by the way, as well. So you go in for your 3rd callback, and then the camera test, and then you sign your contracts. And I think that the disappointment in not getting some of these roles, even to this day, I was up for something last week, and it didn't go my way.
Yeah.
I don't cry on the floor anymore, but it's definitely, that's probably the worst part of the business, which is why I started writing and working with writers. And even the biggest stars in the world, Tom Cruise produces all of his movies. You really got to get your hand in it like that.
You got to be multifaceted in today's day and age. You were mentioning in-person auditions. How did something like the pandemic, and even the strike for that matter, impact your career?
Yeah, I always like to look on the bright side of things. I think that you have to, but it was horrible. By that point, I'd spent 10 years in Los Angeles, so I moved out when I was 29. I think the benefit of the self-tapes now is I have an agent in Hawaii, I have one in LA, and I have one in the Southeast, and nothing's in person. I've booked NCIS Hawaii off of one self-tape, pretty much the biggest job I've ever done off a self-tape. So that's good. I do miss being in the room. I think when I first got some in-person auditions, you can get really nervous in that situation, and you only get one shot, but it also gives you an opportunity to make an impression, which I think that's very hard to do on a self-tape. But yeah, the pandemic's been horrible. Not to mention, I don't think we're still not back to normal. That part of me thought it would weed out some of the, competition or whatever. But everything I audition for now, if it's a reoccurring role, it goes to, a name actor. It's an offer.
It created some new monsters too, like all these people who popped up out of this TikTok landscape or whatever, what have you.
Don't get me started on TikTok. I'm too old for it, man. I don't get it. These guys are really, I watch them all the time.
A little bit of a different landscape for sure. But even though it's been a little bit different, you actually had a film that got released last year. The Signs of Your Heart. I don't know if that was last year or the year before. When was that?
Yeah, actually, it just came out this year. We did.
Oh, it was this year. I thought. Oh,
it really is a good movie. Actually, I just watched it again because I think Peacock just picked it up. It's on Amazon Prime. Peacock. It's free. So it's called Signs of Your Hearts. The director, his name's Jevin Winter, and he's deaf. Which is awesome, and he's it was really, really cool. So I learned some ASL for the movie. The lead in it, one of the leads is the young kid, and he's also deaf. Actually, Jevin, his first short film that he did right before Signs of Your Heart was called Flash Before the Bang. After he did this movie, Jessica Alba and Matt Damon bought the rights to that. Now they're filming this summer, coming up here, filming the feature, a bunch of big names. And
wow!
So it's a cute movie, And, one of those things I don't get many opportunities to be the lead in movies. So I think for me, it's just, it was a really cool experience.
What was it like in regards to having a director that was deaf? Like, was obviously I was at first. That's kind of a unique experience. It
was wild, while he had an interpreter with him the whole time. So there was really no problem. He's super talented. I think that, if you don't have a sense like hearing, you have so many other talents. The way he was just looking at things and, he sees the world completely different.
I'm happy that everyone's able to, create their own art regardless of,
Absolutely.
issues.
It's another huge business or a gap in the market. I mean, there's a lot of people that are deaf. It's pretty big, and it's obviously it's working out well for him. So he's good. I love seeing people around me that I've worked with have success. There's so many stories, and I go back with people that I've worked with to see them really make it. And I think that's another one of those secrets. When I first moved to LA, I would hate seeing other people.
I'm glad you've grown. I'm glad you've grown, Kyle.
I've grown, yeah. So now I wish everybody the best, except my ex-girlfriends.
You've also been able to produce and direct some of your own projects. Earlier you mentioned Blood Run. Want to tell us a little bit about the projects you've been able to make on your own as well?
So basically that was my first one. I had
debut.
I've done a short film before. I can't write really well, so I can write, but I can't write screenplay. So I've worked with really good writers. So I've had a few projects that people have written for me or written with me in mind that I've been trying to pitch and sell. And an old friend of mine in Charleston, South Carolina, he went to film school and wanted to produce something. So together we raised like $48,000.
Oh, nice.
And we did this short film called Blood Runs. The original writer had backed out at the very last minute. And basically all I had written was an outline for it. So I went into it with my actors, and I think it really pulled out amazing experiences because we had no script, and we went into it with a scene in mind set up, and we shot the scenes, and it's mostly narrated by me as well. So that kind of drove the.
I was going to ask if you were talent as well.
Yeah, so I narrated it. I'm the star of it. It's kind of this guy, William Westcott, who I loosely based on a lot of people I've seen in my life. He's got everything, and he's still not happy, and then he tries to commit suicide at the end of the movie and ends up being saved, and realizes that there's so many people who aren't around that would love to have a shitty day or would love to have
the problems
that he has, and he turns his life around. So I dedicated that to my uncle and my best friend Dusty that I lost, and it came out cool. It was really I think that directing it, and I say writing it, but I really didn't write much.
Yeah.
We kind of just wrote it as we went and wrote the narration, and my editor Tim, he saved the movie because he had all these dailies and all these scenes, and he was able to put it all together, and that's something I never could have done. But just giving the actor a scenario and watching their improv, the performances were all great from everybody, and then we were able to put a story together.
It's amazing that you were able to make the tribute for both your uncle and your friend.
And the 9 million people a year that we lose as well.
I have a close friend of mine who he did as well.
I've got 2 or 3 messages from people saying it helped, and I think that's the only reason why I made it was for that. But I learned a lot about the filmmaking process. I learned a lot about myself. We did a little festival run through Film Freeway. They make it so easy to submit to film festivals, and we won a few awards. It was fun.
I know that world a little all too well.
It's crazy. What was the name of your project that you did?
Love and Love Not. I got a little poster back there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Our lead, Francesco D'Onofrio. What do you like most about creating your own content?
I think just the control that you have over what you're doing. It's so hard to raise that money, but when you do and you can create a project, it's great. I think I'll never do a short film again because there's not really many places to sell it after that. You can try to get a feature made or something, but just having the control to create your own destiny is really, really cool. And then you've made something that's there forever. Working with people and all the actors and everybody, I think it's just a really cool experience being able to build something like that.
You don't just create films, you also create physical art. I'm fortunate enough to have a piece myself.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Tell us a little bit about where does inspiration for your art come from?
I used to just do really realistic like pencil sketches, and I think you have one of my champagne bottle paintings, and I started hole punching dollars or $100 bills, $5 bills, any paper money I had, I would punch a hole in it, and then kind of spread it out on the canvas. I think art's just one of those things, you see what's selling. And I think that champagne bottle, I saw somebody that had done that and just kind of wanted to put my own twist on a bottle. So therapeutic just to draw something or to paint something, a good way to mentally reset yourself.
When you've done your art in the past, who has that brought to you? Like, or who have you connected with through your artwork?
I never really sold myself or anything. I'll give out a piece if somebody wants to keep it. It's really just connected me with myself. I think that's one thing that I love making stuff. I had a dog biscuit company where I made dog treats and actually sold it to Marvel Comics back in the day. And I just like making stuff. So it's such a good connection to yourself.
While you were in LA, there was some people you connect me with, that guy, that New York dude or whatever. Yeah, you got some connections. As an artist yourself, say like these kids who are debating on wanting to be an actor or an artist in general, what advice would you give them?
Make sure that's really what you want to do. I think that me looking back, everybody says they don't have any regrets. I have so many regrets. I wish I would have went to law school. I wish so many things you could have done. I've been very fortunate. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of other actors not get quite as lucky as me. And, a lot of things hadn't went my way, but I'm one of the more lucky ones because luck's definitely a factor in it. And it's still been a difficult career. So, if you really want to do it and anything good's going to take 10 years, might take longer than that. It's very easy these days to get yourself an Actors Access account, to get auditions. If it's something you really want to do, pursue it. There's plenty of room in the industry for all different types of people, and it's got to be something you really love to do. And then also, have some side hustles. There's no overnight success. I used to see it all the time. People would book a series on their first audition, and they're working at a restaurant again now. And the overnight success really shows. I think it rarely happens. Yeah, maybe in the 80s. At another time, but nothing's easy. And I think if it comes easy, it's going to go easy. So
ready to get into a little speed round type of thing?
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite movie?
There's so many good movies. Like I said, I'm an Adam Sandler comedy type of guy. So I hate to say like any Adam Sandler movie I'll watch on repeat to go to sleep.
So Adam Sandler, Brian De Palma.
Such a random combo, right? I mean,
that's what you like. What language do you wish you knew how to speak?
I wish I was fluent in almost about anything. Spanish would be nice. French would be sexy, probably.
Do you have a favorite cocktail?
I do, yeah. Whiskey Coke.
There we go. Nice. What are you drinking now?
Whiskey Coke.
Perfect. Did you have a childhood celebrity crush?
Yeah, probably like Topanga from Boy Meets World or
Danielle Fisher.
Kelly from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, I love Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah. That's it for me.
What's your zodiac?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Someone from history you'd love to have dinner with?
JFK or Martin Luther King.
Wow. Okay.
That era. I love history and documentaries and stuff like that. And I think that they were so close to doing something amazing before their lives got cut short. I really looked up to that generation. We were on a good path back then.
Could be a part of the reason that their ends were the way that they were. Yeah. Kyle, this was incredible. I appreciate that you came on here. I'd like to give you a chance to see how people could connect with you and what do you have going on next?
Currently in pre-production with my buddy Tim that wrote this project called Zeke. So we're trying to raise a little more money for that, and it gives me something good to work on. I am on Instagram at Kyle Leatherberry. I'd love if anybody wants to check out that short film Blood Runs, just look up my name and then Blood Runs on YouTube, and the full version's on there. It was definitely a cool project to make, and I'm pretty proud of that. And if anybody has any questions or needs anything, hit me up. I'm always around, ready to work, and I love talking to people. It's one of my favorite things to do. So happy to be here. I'm gonna keep grinding. I got a couple things coming up here in Atlanta. I signed an NDA on it, so I can't say too much about it. But
nice.
Pretty good movie project. I'm working behind the scenes on it, stand-in type of thing, but I love being on set. So it's a big Marvel movie. I guess I can say that.
Yeah, nice, man. We're excited for look for Kyle Leatherberry MCU.
Right. I fucking wish.
Well,
I'm gonna ruin all the takes. Like, put me in. But you never know what can happen being on
it's
set.
True. I'm looking forward to getting this out to the world. Appreciate you coming on. This is huge.
Yeah, I appreciate what you do, man. I watched a bunch of your episodes the other day, too. Keep doing it, man. It's a great thing for actors like us and artists.
Awesome.